Being part of a highly organized crew in GTA Online is one of the most amazing feelings in the world, but unfortunately, you just can't buy friends on Maze Bank foreclosures, which means as a solo player, your purchase decisions are going to be very different from someone who's part of a team. But not to worry, my fellow lone wolves, because inside of this video, I'm going to cover all of your needs by giving you the 15 best items that you can own in GTA Online to improve your solo gameplay experience. These purchases include vehicles, weapons, businesses, and more, and while I'm crafting this guide primarily around an invite-only lobby playstyle, you'll also find that a lot of the stuff on my list here today also excels at fighting other players in public lobbies. Once you own these items, you'll feel a lot more confident as a solo player because you'll be prepared to deal with a wide range of situations. And the first item on my list, which is a must-have, especially for beginners, is the warhorse known as the Armored Kuruma. And you probably heard this a lot, but this is a beast of a sports car, and it isn't the fastest way to get around Los Santos, but it sure is the safest thing on four wheels if you're going up against NPCs, and that's primarily due to the Kuruma's complete 360-degree bullet protection, or virtually 360-degree bullet protection, which prevents enemy fire from sneaking in no matter which direction you're facing and how many people are firing at you. Even in the most heavily armored vehicles like the APC or the Night Shark, there are certain weak spots in the windows through which the occasional bullet might sneak in, and over time, unless you're using snacks, you will die to a heavy enough volume of fire. But that's not really the case in the Kuruma, which is the perfect early stage vehicle for someone who's new to GTA Online, and especially good for solo players who want to play in invite-only lobbies, as NPCs don't use explosives, and that's honestly the only real weakness of this car. It can't even tank a single RPG or homing missile. However, the next vehicle on my list, the Duke of Death, can tank explosives. In fact, it can survive up to 3 RPGs and 9 homing missiles before blowing up, and to make things even harder for griefers, you can always pop into your agency vehicle workshop and install a missile lock-on jammer for some extra protection. And in my opinion, the Duke is superior to the Armored Kuruma in pretty much every aspect, except for the slightly reduced bullet resistance on the driver's side window. Think about it, the Duke is literally free on Warsaw Cash and Carry. On top of that, it's faster in a straight line, it looks better, sounds better, and can pull wheelies, so it has the aesthetics factor going for it as well. And as I already explained, the Duke is far more survivable in public lobbies due to a combination of increased explosive resistance and the option of installing a missile jammer to troll all the Oppressor and Deluxo kids out there. Sure, it only seats 2, but again, you're a solo player, so do you really need more seating? I guess so if you're gonna do something like the Diamond Casino or Doomsday Heist, but in that case, you might as well form a crew in a Discord or subreddit if you're gonna do those two heists, because randos can be extremely unreliable. Ask me how I know. Next item for number 3, we've got the Acid Lab, and this is both a vehicle as well as a business. The vehicle part is the Brigade 6x6 that you get for free by completing the first part of the Los Santos Drug Wars DLC storyline, which is First Dose, of which again there are 6 missions in total, and you also get a free Ocelot Virtue Electric Supercar at the end of the storyline at the end of Last Dose, so the 11th mission. And if you haven't done any of those missions, I definitely suggest you visit Ron at the liquor store up in Sandy Shores and get started on this ASAP. The Acid Lab is one of the best solo businesses that you can own, and it's almost entirely passive from start to finish. So here's how it works. After you complete all 6 First Dose missions, you get that Brigade 6x6, and you have the option to install the Acid Lab equipment upgrade in it for just $750,000. This won't be an issue, as you'll get over $800,000 just from doing all the story missions in the Fooligans quest line. Then once you also complete 10 contact work missions for Dax, also known as the Fooligan jobs, you'll also unlock the equipment upgrade, which will significantly boost your Acid Lab's production rate. And once again, the equipment cost is more than covered by the missions, so you're essentially getting it for free. And then with everything set up, this business will print money for you. Over $350,000 every 3 hours with the production speed boost, and you can easily resupply simply by calling your assistant Mutt on the phone. You don't even have to be in the vehicle, and once you're ready to sell, simply summon the Acid Lab to your location and use the Manchez Scout to make a quick 10-minute delivery for your easy paycheck. Just one delivery vehicle every single time, and that's another reason to love the Acid Lab. By the way, the Brigade 6x6 is also one of the tankiest vehicles in the game, and it can survive over 45 RPGs to the face, so if you ever find yourself getting griefed in a public lobby, just hop into your Brigade and your enemy will likely run out of missiles before your Brigade ends up blowing up. Number 4 is the Agency, and this is another excellent option for solo players because it provides so much utility through the Armory, Monitech Workshop, as well as the opportunity for a free Super Vleto Carbon helicopter. Then you have the exceptional Dr. Dre VIP contract, which will pay you out $1.1 million once you include all the setup mission payouts as well, and you'll have an extremely low cooldown on missions in the form of payphone hits, as well as security contracts that you can request just by calling Franklin anytime you're out in the free roam. The Kosatka is also one that makes it onto my list here today, simply by being the key to CAYO PERICO, which despite all the nerfs it's received, it's still the quickest way to make $1 million in all of GTA Online, or I guess maybe the second now behind the Dr. Dre VIP contract. Yes, it does have a much longer cooldown compared to the Dr. Dre VIP contract, but it also will probably take you slightly less time to complete if you speedrun it, you know, comparing one speedrun to another. Once you master that long fin and drainage tunnel method, you'll find that it becomes mind-numbingly easy, almost boring because there's so little challenge, and that's why a lot of people just get burnt out because they spam the same technique over and over and over to make as much money as efficiently as possible. But CAYO is a proper sandbox style heist, and you can pick any approach you want and use a multitude of options to enter as well as exit the island, so it's only as interesting as you want it to be. And along with the Kosatka, you can also unlock the Sparrow helicopter, which can be bought as a moon pool upgrade for just $1.8 million. It might seem a bit expensive if you're a beginner, but trust me, it's actually a bargain because you're getting the fastest helicopter in the game, and for a further $240,000, you can install homing missiles on your Sparrow, which transform it into an aerial killing machine. So whether you're doing some Hangar source missions, CAYO prep, or just goofing around the free roam, few aircraft will do better than the Sparrow. Is it the best for PvP stuff? Not really. Starlings, Pyros, and even Oppressors will make mincemeat out of you, but the Sparrow is more survivable than most people give it credit for, thanks to those countermeasures it has, and it also has a slight HP buff that it got recently, so it no longer explodes when you get hit by a stiff breeze. The next item you should buy is the fastest land vehicle in the entire game, and no, it's not the HSW Banshee GTS. I'm talking about the Hakuchou Drag, which is the real fastest way to travel on roads in GTA Online because A, it's a bike and it can cut through traffic better than a car, and B, it handles and turns a lot better than the Banshee GTS despite having a lower top speed. Now this is reflected in the standardized racing test done by Bruffy1322, where the Hakuchou Drag proves itself to be the fastest vehicle in the game, beating out every other HSW car and even the BR8 Formula 1 car. So if you're grinding content like the Bail Office or Cluck and Bell, where speed is going to be more important than just simply armor alone, I'd actually go with the Drag over an armored Kuruma or even Duke of Death, simply because you can complete the missions a lot faster, and for time trials, there's also no better weapon here, so every week you'll be making easy $350,000 just from those, as long as you own and use a Hakuchou Drag for it. Next, we've got the Oppressor Mk II, and this one is easily the single best grinding tool a solo player can own in GTA Online. No exceptions. Well, actually, there is one exception, and it's the Sparrow, specifically for CAYO prep, because you can directly take off from inside of your Kosatka and land back on it. Plus, the Sparrow has a higher top speed of 168 miles an hour compared to the Oppressor's 130 miles an hour, which does make it better for long distance travel, like when you're trying to sell multiple bunker vehicles solo. But other than these very specific and niche scenarios, the Oppressor Mk II is better in basically every single way, and it should be, considering the fact that it has an astronomically high price tag of $8 million. However, there's a way to bring it down, and that's only possible if you own a terabyte. This service vehicle is a heavily armored mobile headquarters from which you can launch source missions for your vehicle cargo, CEO crate warehouses, as well as your hangar warehouse. And once you install a master control terminal for just $1.2 million at your garment factory, you can also use it to manage your nightclub and resupply your various MC businesses. But the value of the terabyte extends even beyond business management, because it's the only place in the game where you can modify your Oppressor Mk II with missiles, and owning a terabyte is also how you unlock the $6 million trade price for your flying missile bike. You can do that by completing just 5 client missions. They don't have to be 5 different missions. You can spam the same 2 missions over and over, but as long as you do 5 total, you'll unlock the discounted price for the Oppressor, and then you can fly it into your terabyte where you'll be able to install those homing missiles, which is probably the main reason to own an Oppressor Mk II, apart from its nimble handling and its compact size, of course, because you could basically just land it anywhere. All right, time for an unorthodox pick here, and I bet you won't see this on many GTA Online solo item lists on YouTube. My next item recommendation is going to be the Bunker, one of the most underrated businesses in GTA Online. And if you've only been playing PvE, you may not feel the need for it just yet, but trust me, once you encounter your first Oppressor Mk II or a Raiju in the wild, you'll wish you'd have explosive sniper rounds unlocked. And the only way to get those is through the research section in your bunker. And the research section also unlocks the twin minigun remote turret for your weaponized Tampa. And unless you have a bunker, you won't be able to buy an MOC, which is where you upgrade vehicles like the aforementioned weaponized Tampa, as well as Vigilante and more. And the bunker also unlocks other excellent ammo types like FMJ rounds, which will turn unarmored cars into Swiss cheese. And if you've never tried out FMJ rounds on a Combat MG Mk II, well, let me tell you, you are seriously missing out here. And speaking of weapons here, here's one you can't forget if you're a solo player: the Heavy Sniper Mk II. This is a weapon that's all purpose. It comes in handy whether you're fighting NPCs or players, and it even has uses in certain missions like the Up and Running mission in Oscar Guzman Flies Again, where you can park your vehicle at the bottom of the hill and simply shoot the base of the comms tower with your explosive sniper rounds instead of driving all the way up there and dismantling it yourself. Explosive rounds also help you deal with juggernauts a lot faster, and anytime you're tired of being chased by NPC helicopters, you can insta-kill them with your heavy sniper. In PvP, going up against someone with explosive rounds in their heavy sniper is straight up unfair, as they're basically going to make you ragdoll all over the place, and you won't even get a chance to shoot back. So I say you should give yourself the same advantage and grab yourself a heavy sniper of your own with the explosive ammo upgrade you get from your bunker. The Stromberg is one of the few weaponized vehicles in the game that can be used in missions, and while it's best known as a worse Toreador, there is so much more to the Stromberg than that. For starters, it costs $1.7 million less than the Toreador, while also being a submarine car. And while the Stromberg is slower than the Toreador as well, both in terms of lap times and straight line top speed, it comes with machine guns and homing missiles installed by default, which means you don't need to own an MOC or Avenger, and that's going to save you even more money. Plus, the Stromberg has the exact same explosive resistance as the Toreador, so it can tank 2 RPGs and 6 homing missiles, and it also has bullet resistant glass windows. So for solo players who don't need the absolute best and most armored cars for PvP and just want something sort of on the cheap, something that can be used in some missions, the Stromberg is easily going to be a better pick here than the Toreador. My next pick is going to be a helicopter here, but this one doesn't shoot missiles or go outrageously fast either. In fact, it won't even fit on most streets, so you do have to drive a bit to get to its spawn point whenever you summon it, and I'm of course talking about the DH7 Iron Mule. And just as the Toreador replaced the Stromberg, this guy all but replaced the cargobob by doing everything that its predecessor does, but better. And so whether you're grinding vehicle cargo, bunker, or doing nightclub cell missions, the Iron Mule can lift your vehicle and get it to the destination a lot faster than simply driving there. With multiple vehicles, things do get tricky, especially if you have to do multiple drops with each vehicle. But for example, the bunker cell mission where you get 2 phantom wedges, you can simply pick up the trailer with your Iron Mule and drop it at the location instead of driving there. The Mule will also pick up your Speedo custom and Pounder custom. The only things it can't lift are the MC delivery vehicles as well as the CEO warehouse vehicles, so just keep that in mind. It can't do absolutely everything, but it will do a lot. The Buffalo EVX is going to be my 14th pick here out of 15, and this one makes it onto the list because it's easily going to be one of the most durable armored cars that you can buy, capable of tanking 12 RPGs and 12 homing missiles. And honestly, you could sub out the EVX with, say, the Ocelot Virtue, for example. Both of these can tank a lot more RPGs than traditional Amani Tech armored cars because of their electric drivetrain, and it can also fit a missile lock-on jammer. And in the case of the EVX, it also has HSW upgrades, which means it is very evasive, very fast, in a straight line, around corners, whatever. Handling can be a little bit tricky, and because of all that weight, you constantly have to oscillate between understeer and oversteer if you aren't experienced with the car, but I'd be lying if I said it wasn't an excellent performer on the street. And for the final pick here, I'm gonna go with one of the best money makers in the game, which recently became even better thanks to the Higgins Helitours business buff. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's the Hangar. It's one of the more, I guess, OG businesses in the game that was added, and everyone hated it until they added the land source and sell missions, and now it's even better than ever because by owning the Higgins Helitours Money Fronts DLC business, you can also make up to $2.8 million with a full hangar if you stock up on one crate type, whether it's medical supplies, chemicals, or narcotics, due to the 10% buff that the Higgins Helitours business gives your hangar. And also, if you have a Sparrow, the source missions will be insanely fast and easy. So honestly, in my opinion, there's no reason not to own a hangar in GTA Online in 2025. And there you have it. These are going to be my top 15 picks for the best solo items in GTA Online for 2025. I'd love to know which one of these do you guys think is the most important, and are there any other items that you'd want to see in your own personal list or add to mine? Let me know in the comments below. Also, thank you guys so much for watching. Drop a like if you guys enjoyed, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. Feel free to check me out over on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, specifically twitch.tv/hazardoushtv for more GTA Online live streams. As always, I will see you guys in the next GTA 5 online video. Adios amigos.